I didn't choose GIS. I was assigned.
GIS chose you.
Yeah, GIS chose me.
Seventh episode of this podcast series, seventh guest, Qiusheng Wu. Thanks, Qiusheng, for accepting our invitation. You are an associate professor at University of Tennessee. First question, as usual, is what's your job about? What's your interest, main research interest? And then later on, we will go through your career.
Yeah, so right now I'm an associate professor at the University of Tennessee in the Department of Geography and Sustainability. And I've been in the department since 2019, 6 years now. And so my day job is actually teaching at the university. So usually I teach 2 courses every semester. So I teach some like GIS courses, for example, introduction to GIS programming, some software design, spatial data management, like that. And so most of my courses, I record the video, I put it on YouTube, so anyone can watch those videos. So mostly just when I'm teaching in class, I record the screen and then just share the video. And that's my day job, my kind of teaching responsibility. For my research, I'm interested in cloud computing, geospatial big data, and open source software development. So I developed some of those open source packages and makes it easier for people to utilize geospatial data, geospatial technology. And in my free time, I record YouTube videos, just teaching people how to use stuff, how to create tools, how to utilize low free cloud computing resources to do some research. Yeah, so that's my teaching and my research interest.
I will come back to that later on about your open source tools. First, you say you do mainly teaching, just 2 courses per semester. Is that time consuming? The reason I'm asking, because in the UK, essentially one of the worst part, at least from my, let's say, informal conversation with academics here is, there is too much teaching and students, because of course, students then provide feedback on the professor. It's also important the professor itself is putting efforts and provides a good job. And that become a lot of stressful mentally and also time-consuming task. What about you? It's the same as well.
I certainly takes time, but I would not say it's like super time consuming. If it is the first time that I'm teaching the course, it probably need to take time to prepare. So when I first joined the department, you're going to spend a lot of time because you have not taught the class before. Although you might get some material from the other instructor previously taught the class, but you still have to adapt those to yourself. So for all my courses, I build from pretty time from ground up. So because I teach in my own way, so I have to prepare all my own materials, my lecture, my lab assignment, quizzes, something like that. But after you have taught the course, for example, once or twice, then it's basically repeating. But for all my courses, I try to incorporate the latest update. So I'm not teaching the same materials every year. I'm not using the same slide. Most of the courses, I don't have slides. Mostly it's just hands-on. And so I do need to incorporate some of the latest development to teach students the latest one. So it's certainly, if you talk for a couple of times, majority will be the same, but I would say maybe at least 20-30% will be different. So every year you're going to revamp, update some of the content. And it certainly takes time that you need to teach, like 2 to 3 lectures every week. Maybe 3 hours a week, just for teaching in the class. But then you need to prepare for that. You need to make sure all the contents are still up to date. And especially for programming, you need to make sure things work, right? The student not run into errors when they are trying to run your code. And also need to grade the assignments and prepare the exam and office hours. So it's a job that you need to do, but I will not say it's super time consuming. So because I spend time to do my own research, to develop software, and collaborate with other people. So yeah, and it's, to me, I like enjoying the flexibility that after I finish teaching, then I can do my own research. Nobody's going to tell me what to do,
Okay.
what not to do. Uh, and so that's one thing, like in academia, is the freedom
Enjoy. Yeah.
to allocate your time to do whatever you want.
Mm.
But you just need to teach
Yeah.
to fulfill your teaching responsibility at the university.
Before the next question, I need to adjust some lighting. Sorry. Just
Okay,
okay.
good.
Probably this is better. Sorry.
Mm,
What about, because linking to this, what you just told me,
mm,
you say, of course, one of the good things is the freedom you have,
mhm,
and the topic you decide then to focus on
mm,
is mainly driven by your curiosity or
mm,
user need impact. Because, for example, I spoke last week, I don't know if you met him, Manoj Shirzai is based at Virginia Tech, and he told me, he's a remote sensing professor there. He told me the first question he always asks himself is, who cares
mhm,
about this? So what about you? It's mainly blue sky,
mhm,
out of the blue.
mhm. What do you mean, like
What's the topic you decide to focus on?
I see. Okay. Yeah, certainly. I mean, uh, there are multiple driving factors. Certainly, the
Mm-hmm.
first one would be something that I'm interested in. I'm curious about that
Okay.
topic. I'm curious about that certain aspects, certain technology. And the other one is, I would think, like not just curious, but would they contribute to my research or contribute to
Okay.
my teaching? Or would that be helpful for other people? If there's something that's very useful, but it's not very easy to use, can I make it easier for people to use? Easier
Okay.
for me to make to use it, my
Yep.
research. So I will
Okay.
utilize some of those and anything in my mind. And also it'll be something like, is this something that I can incorporate into my teaching? Will my students be interested in those? Also something that is like, look at the job market. What are some of the requirements? Right now,
Yeah.
I'm teaching my students, but at the end of the day, they need to go for PhD, they need to
And the
go to
job.
the job market. What are those requirements? Do the students have the necessary skills to apply for those jobs? Eventually, I'm going to have a lot of check boxes. Can they check
Yep.
those boxes? Like if I'm teaching Python programming, teaching some of the tools and our packages, then it potentially might be used for them. Then I would teach that certain aspect, and it keeps improving, right? So nowadays the technology has changed so much, and with all the AI and ChatGPT stuff,
Yep.
it's a lot of things now can be automated by those things. So you certainly need to teach something that students are going to be competitive in the job market. Otherwise, if you're still teaching things that they always 20 years ago, that the same old stuff, you're not going to be able to stay competitive in the market.
Welcome to University of Naples. When I studied there 10 years ago, I don't know now, probably the situation has changed, but yeah, they were still showing tools from the Jurassic era. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can I now I want to go back in time.
Uh-huh.
So have you is your academic career has started in the US?
Mhm.
Is your studies, where did you, and how did you why did you choose this type of GIS degree? Geography, I don't know.
Interesting. So that's kind of a long
Mm.
story. So I came from
We have time. We have
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry.
I came
Yes.
from China.
Okay.
And so the education system in China is very different from the one in the US, right? So in the
Mm.
US, student can choose whatever major they like. They just apply and then they get admitted. They can study what the major they want.
Okay.
But in China, at my time, it was different. So you didn't really have a choice. So when we went to apply to get into
Mm.
college, we need to take the so-called college entrance exam. So in the
Okay.
exam, you need to basically select, for example, your top three university you want to go to. And then
Mm-hmm.
university, you can select, I think, a couple like top three majors you want to study.
Mm.
And if your score is, for example, take the exam, if your score is high enough, either you can get to the top university, the top major, the favorite one that you want to study.
Okay.
If your score is not high enough, so for every university that you choose, there's a checkbox saying that do you
Okay.
want to be assigned a major So basically, you can get into the top university, but you'll be assigned to study a major that you are not choosing to. So if you
You
check the
cannot
box,
choose.
yes. So there's a checkbox, like for example, you can get into Harvard, but they ask you to study a major that not many people interested in, but they still need students, right? So if you check that box, you can
Okay.
choose to go into a top university, study the major
But
that
you
you
don't know
want
what you
to.
are going to.
Or you can go to the second tier university. You can study the major that you want. So basically, it depends on your ranking, depending on your score. If your score, if you're top one, like you can choose. If you are not the top one, then you'll be assigned to study whatever major that they assign you to study. So for me, at the time my top major is going to be, my parents wanted me to become uh,
Lawyer,
a doctor, basically a medical,
doctor.
like medical
You are
doctor.
still a doctor.
Yeah, I'm still a doctor, but not medical anymore. Because they know it's the highly respected profession
Yeah, I think
in
yeah.
pretty much every country. If a doctor, right? And my score is not high enough, so I didn't get into the top university, the top major.
Okay.
But I did get into the Sun Yat-sen University. It's still the top one, top university in southern China. But because my score is not high enough, I passed basically the minimum requirement,
Minimum.
but I cannot choose the major one. And so at the time I was studying, I think chemistry, atmospheric sciences or something like that. So the major, I forgot what I did. It's like chemistry,
Okay.
basically medical school, and then chemistry, and then atmospheric sciences. But they didn't want me, so they assigned me to study GIS. So there's a new
The
major.
leftover of the
Yeah, so they
leftover.
all bought it basically at the time, because I think it was the first or second year that they
Okay.
established the GS major. So nobody really know what's GIS. And my high school teacher so I'm going to dig mine and then to excavate some gold or something, like doing GIS. They didn't know what it is. And then I end up like doing GIS, and I go into the major, and then I study all those like software. So I go into the university in 2003, and then 2 years later, Google Earth released Google released the Google Earth, right, at the initial version in
Yep.
2005, and you can see those all the satellite images and all the things. Like I
Yeah.
was really amazed, and I kind of fell in love with GIS and remote sensing. And so I spent 4 years in college, and um, another year and a half going to graduate school, but I didn't finish. So I met my PhD advisor from the US, and he recruited me, and then I went to Texas A&M University. Then my advisor moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, University of Cincinnati. So I followed him, finished my master and PhD over there, but in the geography department, so it's a geography major. And after that, I got a job as a tenure track professor at State University of New York at Binghamton. So I did there for 4 years, and then I moved to Tennessee. So basically, the long story. That's a long story. Short story is that I didn't choose GIS. I was assigned to.
GIS chose you.
Yeah, yes, chose me. And since then, I've been like, yeah, this is my career. So
Okay.
it's has been. So I started in 2003,
Yeah.
and it's like 21 years now. So I pretty much like every day dealing with GIS and remote sensing stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
And just probably for the viewers who will see this
Uh-huh.
video, of course, then there is another side of your career,
Mhm.
because you are also, like you say, you already mentioned, touched the topic, is you put a lot of stuff online and you have your own YouTube channel.
Mhm.
I was checking some number. You have more than 35,000 subscribers,
Mhm.
more than 1.5 million views.
Mhm.
So you start at when did you decide and what you essentially on this platform you share essentially
Mhm.
the nice things, because I use some of them as well,
Mhm.
some of my colleagues as
Mhm.
well, they are quite short in time. So because
Mhm.
sometimes I search for stuff online and they provide video of 10 minutes for
Mhm.
something you can do in 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Why you decided all of a sudden, no, I need to put this stuff online? What was your
Yeah, it's
intention?
also like by accident. So I think I created a YouTube channel probably in 2009, 15 years ago,
One of
but
the
I really
first, probably.
I didn't upload anything.
Okay.
I think I think share a couple short video in the past, like couple
Mm,
years ago, but was like nothing really like blows up or anything. And it was until the pandemic in 2020. So at the time, before pandemic, we are all teaching online, teaching in person, right? So I didn't really have to record a video.
yeah.
So in 2020, everything moved online. So we are, I think in the spring 2020, I was teaching, I think, spatial data management, Google Ascending stuff. And so half the semester, during the middle of the semester, we have to move from in-person to online because of COVID. Then I had to record a video for my students. So at the time, I was also learning Google Sending and also learning how to make it easier for people to use cloud computing using Python. So in the meantime, I was learning that, developing packages. At the same time, I was recording video, teaching my students how to use my packages. And I was thinking, okay, I'm recording anyway, and I need to share the video with my students. Uh, why not share on YouTube, right? But at the time, I was kind of a very skeptical because I'm not a native speaker. My English is
Mm,
not very good. I have a strong accent.
mm,
I was very kind of a not very outspoken person, so I don't
mhm,
really want people to listen to my voice
mm,
or listen to my teaching, except for my students in class because they have no choice. I'm the one that's teaching. They have to listen to
mm,
me. So, but at the end of the day, I say whatever. I'm putting out things out there, but I never watch it myself because I hate listening to my own voice. So I put up the video, and then it seems some people like it. And in the meantime, I was also developing some of those GMap packages and also try
yeah.
to create tutorials. And so I put it on YouTube and then share on social media. People like it. Then I continue to develop, continue to put up videos every week. And yeah, then the rest is history. So now
Mm,
I continue to record video for all my teaching in person, like classes in person, and I share on YouTube. But in my free time, I also record videos just for some of those open source stuff that I'm working on, and try to share with people some of the latest development or some of the latest features in those packages. And I also go to conferences, teaching workshops. I usually record those videos for those workshops, and
mm,
then so people can just don't have to pay to go to the conferences, a couple $100 just to attend the workshop. So
yeah.
I've done a lot of workshops in the past. At least I'm seeing 6 or 7 every year. Whenever possible, I try to record those. So yeah, so now I have like a couple hundred videos. Some are kind of pretty long, like for the entire course in person, and some are pretty short, only 10, 20 seconds,
Yeah.
just to show the highlights. So those are things I share on social media because you need to
Be short.
attract attention so that people can like click into your notebook or your full video. So
Yeah.
I think maybe half, I think roughly, I think so 300, 400 like full length video, some like 10, 20 minutes, some like 1 hour. It varies. And there are a lot of like short videos, just 10, 20 seconds, just show you the highlights of a certain feature, certain things that I was working on. Yeah.
Are you now, because now you regularly record and upload
Mhm.
stuff, is mainly because you base it on the success you are having, or it's because it's still mainly for you would have done anyway, even if you have like 10 views?
Yeah, I never really look at the views. Like
Yeah.
maybe a couple months I will see like what's going on. But I never really pay too much attention to the
Mm,
performance of the video
okay.
because that's not really what I care. I I record what I want to do.
Okay.
But sometimes certainly there's some feedback from the community, from the viewer saying that can you do this? Can you do that?
Yeah.
And if I have time, if I think something that's useful for me, for the community, I will try to do it. But certainly I'm not trying to um, create video based on what people are searching
Okay.
because there are a lot of videos out there.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do everything. I'm not trying to catch like the buzzword and trying to do things. I'm recording a video for the project that I'm working on and
Okay.
for things that I'm teaching, for something that's relevant to me. But I don't really care, is it getting 10 view or 100 view, 1,000.
Okay.
I never really spend time looking into that, like who are watching my video, because once you put things out there, it's up to the people whether they're interested into watching or not. And also sometimes the video, you
Mm-hmm.
put it out, nobody watching it, but after a couple of months, all of a sudden, like some people
Might be a
interested in it, they
viral.
share it, and then you get a lot more views. So to me, it's just kind of like a record. I want to record it. I want to put it out there. Once it's done, it's done. I don't
Okay.
go back to like investigate how can it improve, because I'm not a professional YouTuber.
Okay.
I don't really do any editing. Like I just record a screen and
Yeah.
then upload. I never like I used to spend
Yeah.
like I mean, couple hours just to edit a 10 minutes video, and
Okay.
then it's just too much time. So in the end, so okay, whatever. I don't. This is not my strong point. My point is to share the
Mm.
knowledge, not to create fancy videos, have all the animation, all the stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, it's pretty boring. It's just the screen,
Well,
and that's it.
pragmatic.
Yeah, it's just myself, so I don't really have
Um,
time to do all that. Yeah.
so just one last question about these numbers, you see, because you say it's not, of course, your priority,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a slowly, let's say, increasing number of views, was a slowly, let's say, progress of the channel, was a like a sudden, there was some specific event or
Mm-hmm.
video that went viral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's certainly sometimes like you will get a lot more subscribers, a lot more views. For example, earlier this semester, I was post a video that, okay, I'm teaching introduction to GS programming class,
Hmm.
and I'm going to record all the videos, so I share online, and then that video will like get a couple thousand, maybe I don't know exact number, like tens of thousands of views, I mean, within a couple of days, because people are interested in. But you can quickly see that the voice video get a lot of views, and then the second week, so it's going to decrease gradually, because not everyone is sticking to the whole class. They're interested in a certain one, so they sometimes you will like goes. It's not really like goes viral, but it certainly attract a lot more attention. So you get more views, watch hour, and also subscribers. But it's not like sustainable, because you're gonna
Okay.
go back to normal. So I think on average, I don't know the exact number, but maybe you get 50 um 50 to 100 subscribers every day, maybe.
Okay.
No, not 100. I don't know, 10, 20. I never really like look into the number.
Check.
But
Okay. Oh, so can you confirm you do everything by yourself? Because
oh
my
yeah,
idea was
yeah.
you
There's
can.
nobody help me, just
So how,
myself.
because you do teaching,
Mhm.
you also have this, let's say, career as a YouTuber,
Mhm.
even if you don't like to be probably defined as YouTube. I thought like how you can find time. I mean, it's
Mhm.
still, even if it's a short video, still require uploading,
Mhm.
advertising. You have also, I mean, some of these G map,
Mhm.
leaf map you developed,
Mhm.
you have to put online, wrote a documentation. So it's all, and it's probably no primary part of your role there.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, it's my free
so
time. So there's no shortcut. There's I
no
have
help. Okay.
I have the
That's
same 24 hours like everyone. So basically, I utilize my night time. I usually work from after my kid goes to sleep, usually from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. sometimes.
Mamma mia.
Yeah,
So
9
okay.
p.m. to 12 a.m. or 1 a.m., sometimes 2 a.m. If this weekend, I sleep very late, 1 to 2 a.m. In early morning. And when I'm also daytime at work at the university, I also try, when I'm not teaching, I try to work on some of those stuff. So most of the video for teaching, when I'm teaching in class, I'm recording anyway. So there's no really you need to spend a lot of time, but just upload the video and then create a thumbnail. It only takes maybe a minute or two, a couple minutes to upload the video. But for other parts, for those open source stuff, that takes a lot more time, because for every video, for example, 10, 20 minutes, just
Yeah,
trying to show like what he's doing. But behind the
specific.
scene, it usually takes a couple hours or sometimes days, couple days just to create, they implement that feature in the package so they can
Yeah.
introduce. That one takes a whole lot more time. Usually creating video is not a lot of time. So I never edit a video. It's one shot.
Mm.
I recorded it, I finish it, and then I upload. I really need to cut the video or anything. Because I don't listen to watch my video again, so I don't know what did I say, and it's all like no, I'm playing. So I record it when I was talking, and I never really have a script. It's not scripted. So
Yeah.
speaking
Okay.
especially is just live demo, and then uploaded it, and then create a thumbnail, and then after that you share it on social media, different platforms, and that's it. And then just let whether people interested or not, and it's not really my top concern. When I have time, I try to like, okay, can I implement this one? Something like some of the features that I want those features. Some like people requested saying that can you do this, can you do that? And again, when I have time, I try to do it. But it's just sacrifice some personal time,
Yeah.
because I enjoy doing that. So I'm perfectly
Yeah.
fine with sacrifice some time with um creating those videos.
So yeah, you, so time. That
Uh,
was my next question. Where do you find, you say it's free time, late in the
mhm,
evening. So how you can balance your private life,
mhm,
hobby, family,
mhm,
and your professional?
mhm.
Do you struggle sometimes, or I don't know, it's
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I struggle and I try to balance, and sometimes my family does complain that I spend too much time on work that not really have family life. So I try to move away. So a weekend sometimes I don't work anymore. Sometimes I have to spend the whole day with my family, with my kid,
okay.
so that they don't complain that I'm always working. At night I can work, but daytime I have to be with my family sometime to just to not otherwise they will complain that you
Yeah.
need to stop
Yeah.
working. So if like
I
I
understand this
do every
issue.
day,
I might
one
be
of the days a week.
quieter, but
Yeah.
I understand because they are in the other room. But yeah,
Mm,
I have the same issue sometimes.
yeah. But if it's
Um,
something that you are very passionate about,
mm,
then you always find time to do it. If it's something not you're
so
not interested in, even if you have time, I will not do it. So I have a lot of commitment that I have to do. Some of the things that I always wait until the last minute because it's not something I'm
you enjoy.
really interested
Yeah.
in, and it's just taking time. You still have to do it. But if it's something that you're interested in, you will
Mhm.
always find time, no matter how busy you are.
Yeah, no, of course. You're right.
Mm.
If you really care,
Yes.
you find time.
Mm.
Um, so do you think probably because I saw, I don't know, online, you have been working, you have been probably consulting with for Google.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your relationship with them? Do you, I don't know, have proper project together? Do you do
Mm-hmm.
some research for them?
Mm.
What's your
Yeah, so I think Google is mostly because of the GMAP project. So it's
Mhm.
package that makes it easy for people to utilize the Earth Engine cloud computing platform using Python. So I've been
Okay.
working, collaborating with the Earth Engine team, I think for a year or two now.
Okay.
Basically help them um, work with them to reorganize GMAP, and then basically separate GMAP into two components, the core
Mm,
and the extra. So the core functionality, the Earth Engine team officially support some of those. So it makes it more stable because right now it's being
mm,
utilized in their official help documentation. So people
mhm,
even learning Python using Earth Engine, they will use the GMAP, and but um, I still maintain some of those extra functionalities that they don't support. And so I work with them like regularly. We have regular meetings,
okay.
so I just make sure that if there's anything we need to fix, we fix it right away. So I've been working with them for over 2 years now. I used to also serve as a Earth Engine, what's they called, Google developer expert for Earth Engine.
Okay.
So I can also like collaborate with other people in the community and try to incorporate some of the latest development into the package, something like that. And so in my part time, I also work as a Amazon visiting academic. Work with previously with Amazon Web Services, and also
Mm,
now with Amazon to basically kind of give some advice on how to utilize some of these open source geospatial technologies and also some of my open source packages. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing geospatial, you need to analyze the data, you need to visualize the data. And I mostly focus on Python and Jupyter notebook ecosystem. If you need to visualize some of those vector data, raster data, some of the things that I'm working on might be useful for some of the workflow. So I also I enjoy working both in the academia, but also have collaborations with the industry. So some of the latest technology that they're using, and try to learn some skills from the tech companies, and then I can bring it back to
propose, And for Google and Amazon, you say you essentially you do. I mean, there are collaboration. You do also teaching. You say for Amazon. What does it mean? Are you teaching?
No, teaching is in a university, not teaching at Amazon.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it's more like consulting. So if it,
Okay.
yeah.
But the things you do essentially use it for training their employee. Why they ask you? Why they approached you?
Oh, this is basically
What's
like
the
I said. So
benefit?
for all these companies, they are all utilizing geospatial data, right?
Okay.
Internally, at Amazon or even Google, they all have this kind of geospatial technologies, and some of them are pretty mature. Some of them are like a new initiative they're trying to develop. And if they need to use geospatial data, they might have a lot of engineers that can do coding, but they might not have a very good understanding of how remote sensing works, how those electromagnetic spectrum, how to interpret the images. So they still need some kind of expertise to help them basically think about the science questions, not just like the implementation or the engineering, because you can find any computer science students to implement whatever GIS task.
Even
But they might
better,
not have a good understanding, like why this near infrared, why it looks like this. How can we utilize the spectrum or the hyperspectral, for example, to help extract some insights out of the data. Those things you still need to have some kind of background, geospatial, GIS background, remote sensing background, but they may not necessarily have that kind of employees internally, because I mean we're in geospatial geography. Most of our students, the coding skills are not super strong compared to computer science students, right? Because we're not trained as a computer scientist. But if you want to get into the tech companies, big tech, you need to have very strong coding skills. So we have students go to the big techs. I mean, specifically for doing software engineer, you can learn by yourself, but I mean, majority of the students just cannot reach that level. And so that's why, I mean, most of the employees, they mostly come from engineering, come from computer science, but they still need to do science. They still need to address some of those environmental applications. Then they need someone that have expertise in those area to help them guide the science. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why Google, through Google Maps and all this web app, they might need geospatial expertise consulting. Why Amazon as well? Why
Oh, Amazon
Amazon?
also, you think about it's a retail company,
Yeah,
like selling all the stuff.
that's my ignorance. Yeah,
But think about that. For example, how do the package get from the warehouse to your door? It also involves all kind of geospatial stuff. You need a GPS, and you need the satellite imagery, you need the navigation, you need to know where the buildings are, where the roads are, where's the delivery point, where do you how do you park the car? There are a lot of things involved that is using geospatial. But it's behind the scene, we don't really notice that. Like you only see like the package delivered to a car by the van, but there's so many things involved that without geospatial, you're going to take forever for you to get a package, right? So all the logistics, GPS, navigation,
it's the
optimization.
last things within
The
a
last
chain.
mile, for example,
Yeah,
from the warehouse
yeah,
to your home. So all those things involve using geospatial. Also, besides the delivery, they also have cloud computing, right? So the cloud computing, Amazon Web Services, just like Google Sending, right? It's cloud computing. So a lot of people use AWS, and a lot of use set images. So how do you store those data? How do you organize those data? How do you make the data accessible? And how do you make the compute also accessible to the customers. There are a lot of things that you can utilize geospatial, especially
Okay.
if you have disaster management. Where are the data? How do we quickly use the data to, I mean, extract the
Yeah.
information, extract the buildings? Those things still need to involve geospatial. So it's pretty much in our daily life. It's everywhere, but
We don't
most
notice.
people don't realize actually
We
it's
don't see.
dealing with low kind of data, and you need to handle things at scale, at those cloud computing environments. So you need to know how to do things efficiently, visualize the data, analyze the
Yeah.
data, get the result, and then present to the stakeholders. And yeah, so uh, whatever you're doing, most likely you're gonna dealing with something with geospatial, with location,
Yeah.
data imagery, with GIS data, mapping, anything like that. So GIS is in our daily life. I mean, everyone nowadays use your cell phone to do navigation. We really have an external GPS right now, mount on your car to travel, right? You also like use your phone, Android or iOS.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go somewhere, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna see the map in the search, right? How do you actually make it easier for people to use your stuff, and how do
Yeah.
you help people? You would certainly need some
Mm.
background or
Yeah.
geospatial or engineering, like to implement. But at the end, how do you correlate this one, for example, to some environmental applications,
Mm-hmm.
disaster management, disaster response? Those things are very critical,
Yeah.
and geospatial data play a big role in those events.
Yeah. Um, you spoke about, of course, you have a background in just spatial GIS,
Mhm.
but of course, you also to all do all these things. You have also solid coding background and skills. Where did you acquire them? Did you learn on the job, or was through your university during your university time in China?
Yeah, so when I was in China, I think I started learning C language, and then Visual
Oh, I
Basic.
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
C, I think I started in 2004. This way I learned C language, so 20 years ago. But I
Okay.
already forgot all the C. I know it's
Thanks.
in the old days it's very difficult. So learning those programming languages, it's
Yeah.
easy. But now
Without
it's become
having
so much easier.
YouTube, without having your video helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I don't use those anymore, like C, Visual Basic. So that's when I learned when I went to college. And then here in the US, in the graduate school, I learned Python, some Python basics, but it's not like the very systematic like course on introducing
At
those.
that time, then. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like some basic one doing some scripting. So I know some basic before I officially like I had to teach my student how to use those. Then I had to learn it very systematically. Be able to read the book. So basically, I basically learned all the stuff on the job. And then once I have the basics, when I started developing those open source stuff, then I have to go online and then to look at the GitHub repo, see how people are doing that. Basically,
Yeah.
learning the best practices, how those popular open source packages, how they're maintaining, and then when there's something new coming out, try to see if there's something that can incorporate into the new package. Either it's like new workflow, new functionality, or anything new that's interesting. I will try to learn it and then incorporate into my
Yeah. Yeah.
work. So yeah, majority of those, I mean, the things that I've done in the last couple of years is
Mm.
I learn it when I have free time, or learn it on the job that I have to teach my students in class the next day. Um, and yeah, I try to learn something new every day. Of course, it's not possible. Sometimes you have a lot of other commitments, but when I have time, I
Yeah.
try to learn some new software, new packages, new tools, any new things that would be interesting and also potentially might be useful for other people. Then I try to learn and then makes it easy for people to use.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you think at some point, I don't know, your vision, what do you think um about your future? But there might be a point where you say, no, I need to decide between my academic career and YouTube, let's
Mhm.
say, or outreach career.
Mm.
Do you think might be a conflict at some point? Or
I don't really think so. To me,
okay.
YouTube is just like a side hustle. I will
Ah,
never become a full-time YouTuber. I don't think I can survive like full-time, like make a living out of YouTube. Maybe until I get to like 1 million subscribers. So for right now, it's just for fun. For me, it's just to
Okay.
use YouTube as something to record the trajectory
Mm,
and to share the videos and then help other people. But
mm.
it's never a reliable source of income, because it's not. It's the time that I spend on recording the video,
Huh? It's not worth
not
it.
worth it. I can work for a company. I can get a lot more pay
If you
if I
okay.
spend the same time. So, for example, I can spend all the time for YouTube. I forgot how much. Like every year, probably get maybe 1,000, 1 to 2,000 bucks, like from
Okay.
YouTube. So every day I get roughly, I think $3 or $4, $4 or $5. It's like a free coffee every day,
Yeah.
because it's very different from those like financial other YouTube channels that has a high. This kind of GS is very small. You're not going to get
It's
a
a niche. Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
niche,
niche.
and it's never going to enough to make a living. And that's why I never really pay attention to like how many views or how many hours,
Okay.
because it's very tiny. So it's tiny
Yeah, yeah.
fraction.
True.
You think about like I spend whole hour working for that, and then every day
It's
you
like
get like $3 or $4. So basically, my
it's
hourly rate is
below
like
standard living. Yeah.
maybe $1 every hour, right?
Yeah.
It's the minimum wage in the US. I think it's maybe 15,
12,
something like
13.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's way lower, right? So don't never think about that. Otherwise, you don't have the motivation. So to me, is some kind of way to build up your archive or your resume,
Yeah.
and then when you have more exposure, people will come to you. Then we lead to more opportunities. YouTube is never. I don't think I will never quit my job and then go just do
Okay.
YouTuber. It will never happen.
You were just, yeah, that's my next question because I say, okay, you don't do for the money,
Mm-hmm.
inevitably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But is this helping your scientific career, your
Mm-hmm.
academic career, and how
Yeah,
is
absolutely. It's
mm,
more like an outreach, public education. So it's
okay.
something that that's why a lot of people get to know me. It's because of this
Mm,
exposure on YouTube and also social media. Otherwise, you will still something nobody knows you what you're
yeah,
doing. And my research area is very small, right? And not everyone is reading your papers. So this actually has a lot more impact, and a lot more
true,
people watch your
true.
video, learning through your class, and they acquire some new skills, and then they come back to send an email. Sometimes I get email very frequently saying that, oh, thank you very much for training your class online that we can learn, and then sometimes even help them get a new job after they acquire the skills. And that's really something that I enjoy doing, that because it helps other people. And certainly it's not for the money. I luckily, I mean, work at the university, I can make a
Yeah.
living through the university, that I
Mhm.
have the free time to do my stuff, and also I can share. And the university, basically the mission is to educate, right? And
Yeah.
do research. So that's part of my mission. So it certainly contribute back to my academic career, because it's part of my basically
Yeah.
my achievement as a professor in the university, that I teach a lot of people,
Yeah.
right, over the world. And it's very fulfilling to have this kind of impact.
Yeah, because definitely you have, without let's say it sounds offensive, but definitely you have more views than readers in the way that it's more
Yeah,
likely people see the
exactly.
video than read your paper.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's why nowadays I spend more time on this, and I don't really need to worry about like, do I need to
Mm,
publish paper in a high impact factor journal or
mm,
something like that.
mm.
Yeah, you can certainly spend a lot of time on that, but sometimes you're producing something that helps a lot of people. It's also
Yeah.
some kind of impact, rather than
Yeah.
strictly you have to publish in a journal in order to like count it as your achievements.
So it's just probably my last question is, so do you think, I mean, for you, some point it's probably more important doing a video, I mean, could be more beneficial and more impactful having a video
Mm-hmm.
than actually a paper on Nature or
Mm-hmm.
whatever best
Mm-hmm.
journal,
Mm-hmm.
because you can reach more people. That's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. To me, I think uh, if you really establish academically, like as an expert in a
that's
certain
yeah,
area,
that's true.
then still eventually you still have to prove yourself. You need
Mm,
to have something like really in depth. Then you do need to publish in a journal. But if you want to reach to a wide audience, to have something in plain language, then doing a video, a blog post, or a book or something like that, or tutorial, you might get more views than a peer reviewed journal. So I try to balance. I need to do both because I still need to supervise my students. I still need to come up with those resource topic that's valuable for them to do research
Yeah.
when they don't have anything in mind what to do. And but I will try to do both because to me, if you just solely focus on teaching, then you become a teacher. You're not really a researcher. So at a
Yeah,
university, you
you
still
don't. Yeah.
research. You need to do both very well. You need to be a teacher. You also need to be a researcher. You need to be a educator.
Yeah.
So this public education is part of my kind of a role as a teacher, as an educator. You can also consider some of those as part of my research. But still, think about here, if you're doing something that everyone can do, right? You can be easily
Yeah.
replaced. So you still have to have some niche research topic that you make
Yeah.
some advancement on that. But
Yeah.
right now I'm leaning towards more to the public education and also the outreach, less than the research. But at a certain point, I will say, okay, I'm done. Now I'm okay. I don't do videos anymore. I will go back to just focus on research, get some like state of the art research done, and then get
Yeah.
published, get some funding, because all everything that I'm doing here, this public education teaching,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot really get money. You cannot really get funding from the federal government because they are more like scientific driven. It's part of like outreach. You have some impact,
They
but
consider
you're never going to
sorry.
say that, okay, I'm going to teach this many students, and I'm going to teach this topic. People say that, oh yeah, so what? It's how does it contribute to the discipline? How does it contribute to the
Yeah.
advancement of the science? Then you will have to come up with some science. So what science question you're working on? So you have to
Yeah.
do both at some point. But right now my focus is more on like building up this and then the audience, the impact. But
Mm.
I don't know when I will like stop doing the video. I'm still can do
Okay.
coding, but maybe in 10 years from now, I will say, okay, I'm done with coding. So now I'm going to do something else.
I
Stop doing
think
video.
honestly, I mean, it's something. It's recorded, so but I believe it's much more likely that in 10 years' time we will not be publishing anymore. We will just be doing
Uh,
a blog or
yeah.
interactive videos because I think it's in the end, yeah, what it might to reach more people as possible, scientists as possible.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Probably it might
possible. I
be,
don't know. It's hard to
yeah.
say. So the publication industry has been there for centuries. So it might not easily go away
It's
because
yeah. At the
how they
moment
make
is
money. Yeah.
yeah. It's
But
yeah.
to me,
it-
mm-hmm,
it's an industry as well. The editorial
mm-hmm,
and journals.
yeah.
That was my last question. So thanks for
Mm-hmm.
sharing 1 hour of your time with us.